The other thing I want to record is about yesterday. On the way back from going to Wanhua supermarket, we very quickly got our tomatoes. At the time, the tomatoes already pretty much at the bottom, clusters already selected by people, leftover tomatoes, I would say, on the surface, but they still looks very good. So I got myself several pounds of tomato, and after that, I suggested that we do a little walk in the community. And after that, we returned and back to the Union Street. And when we entered into the Union Street, like the cross section about 33 and Union, there was like chaos, and we saw violent actions on the street. And the two young men and the two young ladies, and they were basically all entangled with each other, and was about to erupt into a street fight, and certainly attracted several other men nearby on the street, and they tried to come over to see what's going on. So when I saw that, I spontaneously made the decision to bring peace into this situation. So I told Mrs. Shim, come on, let's help those people and bring some light into their life. And to my surprise, Mrs. Shim was very nervous, and he just wanted to run away very fast. Oh no, don't get involved, let's go home. That was usually always Mrs. Shim's mind. For some reason, he always, want to run away from conflict. I think in his mind, conflict is sign of trouble. So stay out of trouble is the wise man's choice, which is in his system. That's his choice. However, for me, that is not my role right now in my life. Since I commit to be someone in this community that shine lights, right? I understand as a Dafa disciple, I am the Dafa disciple that showed the responsibility of shining, right? Spreading the truth of Dafa. And, I'm the hope of the people who are lost in delusion, right? Yeah. And when people are lost in delusion, they have, sufferings, right? They have troubles. So when I see people are suffering and have trouble, my compassion comes out, and I want to reach out to them. So I immediately said loudly to both parties, hey, my friends, no more violence, and love each other and forgive each other, and don't fight, calm down, cool off. That's what I keep on calling out. And that was effective. That was very effective. And when I keep on calling out, I was sending forth righteous thoughts. And the party who was about to be very violent and beat up the young man, Sabia, who was with this girl. At the very beginning, I didn't know what it was relationship. Later, I found out. But in any case, I saw the girl was weeping, and I saw Sabia was trying to defend himself, and I saw the two other young people, it's a couple, who actually was driving the car and jumped out of the car, was ready to beat up Sabia, the young man with the girl. And they eventually retreated into their car, although they made a very bad cursing sign towards Sabia, but they retreated. Okay, so I effectively stopped a street fighting on site with my compassion and calling out love, forgiveness, peace, cool off, no need for fighting, So eventually I also had a good talk with Sabia. I said, tell me the story, my young friend, what is really going on here? And Sabia said, I just came out to get some fresh air, and my girlfriend followed me, chasing me. She's pregnant, okay, and we are in some trouble, And I filed a restriction order against her because she was irrational, she was jealous, she was beating me up, she was cutting my clothes to pieces, and I had to call the police and put her under restriction order. And so she begged me to be with her again and asked me to come out for a party. And I came to the party, but I noticed that she was just talking to everybody, other men in the party, drinking, and I didn't like that. So I decided to leave the party, and she chasing me outside, and then suddenly the man became violent towards me. Oh, I said, okay, so your girl actually is pregnant. How many months? 7 months. Okay, so I said, Sabia, do you understand your responsibilities as a man who got her pregnant, and she already trusts you enough to give her body to you, and you two are now waiting for a new life to come into this world. Your gene and her gene, the genetic systems of both parties are now united in a new life, and you cannot run away from your responsibility over this lady, right? You need to love her, you need to take care of her, you need to remember when you talk to her, she is not just one person. Inside of her there is the baby, and that's your baby, and you need to always love her and take care of her, and you cannot use some kind of restriction order towards her, okay? And so don't be afraid that the police is going to make any trouble. As long as you want it to be dismissed, there is no restriction order. You need to go back to her and take care of her, and take care of the baby, and marry her, and build a wonderful family together. So at the time, I was not really remembering that today is Father's Day. My heart was fully seeing that this young man is about to be the father, and he actually was not able to have enough strength to have the commitment of the relationship, and he is follow modern notions about, okay, she's too hard to live with, and she was violent towards me, and I will try to bang her out from my life, okay? And I told him that, it's not going to work, okay? You need to take full responsibilities, and you need to be committed to this relationship and be the husband, and, a good husband and a great father, right? So he listened, and I gave him the 3 words, 真善人, truthfulness, compassion, forbearance. I introduced, to him the teaching of Falun Dafa on site. And he calmed down, and he listened, and he trusted me right away. So I continued to talk to her, and eventually he said, okay, I am going to take care of her, and let me find her. So the lady who was crying and was struggling with him when I was talking to Sabia, the lady actually wanted to go on her own way and didn't want to stay. And so eventually Sabia said, I'm gonna go look for her. So we went across the street, and we found her weeping, in a very desperate way by the side of the road. So I decided that I would go over and talk to her. So by her side, I also, again, continuously, encourage her to work together with Sabia, and encourage Sabia to forgive and trust and love. And ultimately, I started to chant the 9 character true words, 法轮大法好，真善人好，法轮大法好，真善人好，法轮大法好，真善人好. I keep on chanting by her side and hold her body, and together with Sabia, we took her to the bus station of 44. And at the bus station, she started to stop weeping, and she started to talk. And the first thing she wanted was her key, house key. And she claimed that she wants her key back from Sabia. And Sabia insisted that he will not give back the key to her until he goes back to her house together with her, and then let her settle down in the house, and then take her personal items, and then we'll hand the key back to the lady. Her name is Priscilla. So the two of them start to argue about the key. I noticed that at the time my role is done. So I said, the two of you figure it out, okay? I told Sabia, take care of her. Make your promise. You will take care of her and take her home. He said, yes. I talked to Priscilla. I said, promise me that you're going to give back the personal items of Sabia when you return to home. And she said, I promise in the name of Jesus. Okay, I said, the two of you work things out. I'm heading back to the office, okay? I heard the two of them continuously argue about, how to take the next step, but I consider that the main issue is over. It is about Sabia's commitment and the realization of his responsibilities for Priscilla and the baby. And he was not going to run away anymore, and he wanted to shoulder his responsibilities as a man. And that is the instant power of the 9 character true words, right? That, when a man, his heart accepts this incredible truth that we have a noble identity and our Creator loves us, and we shall not run away from our responsibilities, and we shall be committed, right, to our responsibilities in life. And that was the turning point. So I think yesterday, there was a turning point in Sabia's life and in Priscilla's life, and I'm sending best wishes to both of them.